Bienvenidos, señoras y señores, to another episode of the Bleed Lows Podcast. This episode of the Bleed Lows Podcast is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games, the conference championships, right through to the Final Four and championship game. BetOnline is your college basketball headquarters this season, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your bonus. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. And joining us on the Carne Asada is the founder and CEO of the music label Rancho Humilde and a native Angelino who is just killing it right now. So, Jimmy Humilde, for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, joining us on the show. Jimmy, bienvenido, my friend.
Juan, gracias. What's up, brother? Great introduction. Gracias, Angelino. 100%, brother. And anytime to the carne asada, bro, I'm always going to take that invitation.
All right, awesome. And that's what we want, because the Bleed Lows Podcast, Jimmy, we're about the Dodgers, but we're about Los Angeles, and we're about the cultura. We're about the raza. And that's why we wanted to have you on the show, because, I mean, look, there's so many things I want to get into in terms of the work that you're doing with not only the community, but, of course, your career. You guys are killing it. But I got to start off because we are a Dodger-centric podcast. And by the way, Jimmy, we are the only all-Latino podcast that talks to the Dodgers here.
That's right, baby.
Everybody on here, we're all a bunch of Mexican, or if you want to be, literal Mexican Americans. But everybody that works on this show, we're Latinos, and that's why we want to spotlight other Latinos that have a level of success. But I want to start with the Dodgers, because I'm looking at your Instagram and I see you repping LA, the Dodger hats. You rep Born and Raised. Now, I know that a lot of people like to wear the Dodger stuff for fashion purposes. So my question to you, is it fashion for you, or are you a diehard Dodger fan?
I say I'm a season ticket holder for the Dodgers, finally, for the first time in my life. So it's a dream come true, man. I'm a diehard Bleed Blue Dodger fan, bro. And I mean, look, I don't dislike any other teams, but I bleed blue all the way, bro. All the way, man. It's de nacimiento. I'm a huge collector in LA Dodger hats. I don't care about any other team, with all due respect. But I'm a huge collector when it comes down to Dodger hats. Every one that comes out, every hat that comes out, I try to get my hands on it and, try to match it every day. I don't have a hat on today, but very rare. I have a hat on almost every day of my life. So, but definitely don't wear it just for fashion. It's from the heart.
And, I always tell people who don't know Los Angeles, I always say, dude, the Dodgers are a part of the city. I mean,
Bro,
whether you like it or not. So what made you a Dodger fan growing up as a kid here in LA?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. When I started playing baseball, I was probably about 8 years old, I think. And long time ago. I'm gonna be straight up, man. Just that Steve Sachs to me was like, man, it's like just the ball grabber, the way he would just pick up every ball and make that throw happen. And me I grew up being a shortstop myself, so it was kind of like just bled blue all the way, with the Kirk Gibson and the Oral Hershiser, which is one of my favorite pitchers besides Fernando Valenzuela, Mike Scioscia era. I could keep going, man. It's like just how beautiful it is and how much love every player I see that comes to the Dodgers, and how much love they give to the fans, because we give a lot of love, bro. We're very loyal. I've been to other stadiums and I'm like, dude, these guys are boring, bro. And it's like you go to Dodger and it's like everybody, you see the the beautiful Latina with the Dodger jersey and the Dodger hat or the blue and the jeans and the Vans and the Cortez and all that. It's bomb, bro. And then you have your usual guy. We're always rocking that jersey and that LA hat, que no falla, and it's just a blood thing, bro. Like I think my blood is blue, all day.
I love it.
And and you know what's dope about it is that, like, also my son is a huge Dodger fan too, and I'm actually a coach, you know. I'm a coach for juniors, and I'm his team coach, and you know our team who it is, baby, Dodgers, baby.
Best
So
B.
I want to I want to give credit to la princesa de Picolandia over here, Alicia, because she always
Dale.
has said that Dodger Stadium is run by Latinos. Like that, you go into that, and the majority of the fans in that stadium are Latinos, right, Alicia?
Amen. 100%. And it's just awesome to finally be getting the recognition. I feel like the Dodgers have finally come around. You tell me, Jimmy, as a season ticket holder, um, is it?
Let your boy know if you need some tickets,
Oh, love, love,
No,
love.
look, I'm gonna be straight up. I'm a like we. One of my friends invited me to a dugout game. We sat on the dugout, and I fell in love with it. The comfort of it, the having dinner and lunch or whatever there, and all you can eat peanuts and hot dogs and all that. To me, that sold it. Really, it was a hot dog. So, um,
See?
ever
But when
ever
you
since
were,
they took off the $35 ticket over there at what was it, at right field, all you
yeah,
can eat. I was
With
kind
the
of
all
like,
you can
I was
eat
kind of
gordos,
bummed out.
Jimmy. The all you can eat gordos out there in El Palenque that we call right field.
Yeah, right. And but hey, Alicia should be la princesa del barrio. Así la vamos a poner mejor. No es de
Oh, del
Picolandia,
barrio.
no, la princesa es la reina del barrio, mejor la vamos a poner.
any title from the Rancho Humilde, I will just proudly floss.
All day, all day.
All day, just watching your career just take off. And it's one of those scenarios where it's because you did it your way, right? Like you didn't wait for the traditional, record labels, the traditional TV stations, the traditional radio stations to do what you wanted to do. You saw the need. And I feel like the Dodgers are just now kind of getting it like, oh, wait, they're looking around and seeing how much money the Latino community is pouring into that stadium. Just the Dodger fans alone, we travel with the team. You see that if you ever catch it on TV. We're
Yes,
at
I
all
be
these
I be at those
stadiums.
games too. You know.
Dang, I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they just had that collaboration with Mr. Cartoons. They have collabs with like Modelo,
We're
things
born
like
and raised, which is
yes,
also was shout out to my boy Chris over there, the owner. And
yeah,
and and look, I'm just growing up knowing how short or how small our opportunity was to any business out there, was hard enough. Not only just in the music industry, in entertainment. We still got to capitalize the filming right now, the TV. We gotta go into that. But I think we're starting with the music, and yeah, we did do our way. I have two amazing partners that we were able to find our way into the door and create and build a beautiful family around us, and that believed in what we were doing and just never took no for an answer. It was like
yeah.
we believed in it. We felt that, always felt that us Latinos were like,
Oh no.
not that we didn't have we always had the cholos and the low riding and our type of music that we like or whatever. But us Mexican American Chicanos were always making other cultures bigger than it was to us. Like the, no disrespect, but the hip hop, the rock, the pop, in LA, ever since, even, back in the days where my brother and them were partying and they were listening to Stevie B and everybody else. It was like, you would look at Stevie B's concerts and was like 80% Mexican American, but we weren't supporting our own. You know what I'm saying? I think the only one that ever got love from us was, Kid Frost, But
Right,
other
right.
than that, it was something that we didn't have we were trying to so hard fit into other cultures because we
Right.
would support it and we loved it. So to us, it was like, oh no, we're gonna create our own world. We
Mhm.
have to create our own for our people, and we started using our own instruments and our own way of speaking, and we come from the streets, so it's like, why can we not make our own, freedom of music and talk about our own? Now, our music is very hard to be understand by every other culture, but they love it. You get what
Yes,
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
yes.
they're learning about us. The crazy part was when I went to, you guys remember Sábado Gigante?
Yeah, Don Francisco, my
I
friend.
know. Yeah.
Man, okay. I felt the same way, so excited to go to Sábado Gigante. I was like, yeah, I'm taking one of my bands over there. And when I get there, bro, and they're like, oh, el mariachi mexicano. And I'm like, we're not mariachi. Like, what the hell? Like, we not mariachi. Like, that's, oh, la banda. No, we're not a banda. We're just a group, bro. And and then we're like, can we get a camerino, the dressing room, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, keep in mind, everybody that worked at Sábado Gigante, todos eran caribeños. There was no, they were all Latino caribeños, so there was no Mexican or anybody working there. So when they told us, oh yeah, you need a dressing room, and they threw us in the break room, bro. And
No.
Oh man.
dude, and even the guy that was there doing a show with some little doggies, which I have nothing about dogs. I have 5 dogs myself. But the dude had a way out camerino, and I'm like, yo, like, are you serious? Like, we don't get one. So that's when I say, you know what? I'm not sticking to their plan. I'm gonna go do our own thing. I was like, I'm gonna go after my culture, our people, our gente. We're gonna represent our gente. We're gonna help our people, and because no one else does. So that's where we were born, with that feeling to make it happen for everybody else around us. You know?
And it's happening. And much, congratulations on all of your success. I love it. And I know it's just the beginning for you because I can tell by your passion that when you decide to do something, whether it's your music, whether it's helping out the community, I love the lifestyle videos that you post too. I need to see some more for Dodger
Oh,
Stadium. Okay? But here's a question.
I
You
got
talked
you. I got you all day.
you talked about being a coach to your son in baseball. There is an initiative, Major League Baseball is trying to get more young people, especially brown, black, people of color, excuse me, they want to get them into baseball because the numbers show they're dropping off, especially in the African American community. Is there something,
Yeah,
any
there I see it a
advice,
lot.
right? Like what can they do? Because I feel like maybe you should, there aren't a lot of brown executives in the Dodgers. Maybe you could come on as a consultant and help them out. Like what advice could you give to Major League Baseball, to the Dodgers, to
Look,
help them get into baseball?
one of the things that I see is that we get no love in the community, right? We give, again, here it goes back to just the beginning of it. Us Latinos, Mexican Americans, I do feel that us as Mexicanos and the hoods and in the barrios and everything, right? We always give all of our all to everything that we do, especially when we become fan of something, right? And we all
Yeah.
bleed blue. I don't know not one person. I know a guy that's a Giants fan, and he's not really my friend no more. You know what I'm saying? So I just play. He's a really good buddy of mine, but I give it to him all the time.
Yeah,
So going back to that, I think there is a lost touch between the community of Dodger baseball and our real communities inside Los Angeles. Excuse me. One of the main things is that, look, why not go back there and find a way to get involved with the communities, with doing giveaways, not only necessarily, just food and stuff like that. No, let's give away baseballs, let's give away gloves, let's give away bats, let's give away bags, let's give away stuff that these kids could still become very, very connected. Instead of only playing MLB live on their PlayStation, forget about that. Let's make them come out and say, hey, it is fun to come out here and play and to get dirty and to be involved with that. Because one of the things that's killing sports right now, not only baseball, it's all sports, period, is the social media. You know what I'm saying? So why not get involved of doing that connection in our barrios with the Latino community, with the black community, and also and we want to grow up to be a Dodger one day. You know what I'm saying? Stop going to other countries and to other cities and everything. But let us get born into the organization, and why not get more involved in some type of way? And being a consultant for the Dodgers, hey, I'm a consultant for a lot of other companies that I put them way at top with our communities. Why not? You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like, why not? I would definitely would love that role. If you make that connection, we good. You know?
right, right. I can feel your passion, Jimmy. Let's do it. Let's make that happen. Why don't we start with this? Juan and I were talking about here at the Bleed Lows podcast. We really pushed, wanted, talked about it every single episode, put it in the universe to get Fernando Valenzuela's number retired. And everybody agreed with us, right, Juan? All of the guests that came on, players, management, sports writers. And when others said that it wouldn't happen, it happened, right? So why don't we start with getting you to throw out the first pitch? Are you down for that? Like,
What?
wouldn't that be cool? I mean, I feel like we had a big part, at least in my head, of getting number 34 retired. Juan, right? A little bit. And
Yeah.
we should do that. And if you, maybe you, which artist do you think could come out and pitch over the mound too? Like, are you down? You want to do that?
Yeah, I'll bring Fuerza Regida, which is like, dude, he's
Oh,
a he's a diehard Dodger fan too. So I mean, we'll be
and
more
he,
than we'll be excited to do that. You know what I mean? And then, but you know what? One thing I do got to worry about is that Dodgers gonna look at my arm. But I'm a little old already, so they're gonna try to pick a dude up.
put him in, coach. Put him in.
Move me in, coach. I can give a
Right?
couple of tips to the coach here and there.
I think that would be so fun. And the success of your guy Fuerza, he's huge. I just love that.
Yeah.
You seriously are. I love what your bio says, 100% Mexicano, 100% Americano. This is something that I think the rest of the world is just finding out, that Southern California is its own, we are our own world. Does that make sense? And we have
Yes.
nothing but love, but tons of talent here. And you are doing it. You're not waiting for the traditional outlets. So I don't know. I think that it would be helpful. Juan, are we in? Are we going to start making that happen?
Oh, of course. Jimmy, look, we're putting it, we're putting it in the universe. Jimmy and the rest of his artists will be at Dodger Stadium. The only thing we ask, Jimmy, shout out the Bleed Lows podcast when you throw a strike right down the middle. That's all we ask. But we'll make it
Bro,
happen.
I'm a gun it. I ain't gonna lob it. I'm a gun it. I'm gonna give him a quick 92, 93.
Jeez.
Nah, but I mean, look, man, when I look at Alicia's thing all day, and I follow her, and I've been a fan of her, and we've been in communication here and there, and I'm so happy to know that finally we have a podcast that's talking about not only the Dodgers, but it's in communication with our community, man. That's big. That's you have no idea how much that warms me to know that everything that's going on right now, and how our Latino culture, forget about Latino, because Latino, we always been ripping it, but I'm talking about Mexican, how us Mexicans, I'm first generation Mexicano. My parents came here from straight from Michoacan, and my first language is Espanol and Inglés. No más que we have our own language, we say things to each other that only we understand. Is that Pocho language, and it's the
Yeah.
beauty of it. But to know, I get a phone call last night from a really good friend of mine. And he goes, "Hey, have you seen the charts?" And I was like, Nah, I don't. I'm not a chart dude. I'm not a guy that goes into charts. I'm not a guy that hangs plaques on his walls to feel better, right? Or to do what I'm doing. I really don't go from that. I love to work and do what I do." But he said, "Hey, just in Latino, um, in the U.S., uh, 9 of the songs that are in the top 10 in the U.S. and Latino in the Latino chart, 9 of them are Mexican. And I said, what? Where we've been dominated by reggaeton for the last 15 years, you know? And
Yeah.
he said 9 of them are Mexican and 7 of them belong to Rancho Mille. And I'm like, what? I'm like, hey, I didn't know that, you know? But
Wow.
my whole thing and our company with my partners was our goal was to take over the charts in Mexico, right? Because I couldn't see, I couldn't accept in other ways that our charts were being dominated by other countries in the country that is our native, that is our country where we come from. So as of today, we dominate the charts in the U.S. We dominating the charts in Mexico. We're dominating the charts with our family in Guatemala, with our family in El Salvador, and now we're moving on to Colombia, baby. So we're not. I'm not gonna say we're taking over, but we're taking over. You know what I'm saying? We got our culture is getting there, man, and we're all we've been doing it. One of the prides that we can take is that we've been doing it from our heart. We haven't
Yeah.
done it with any support or any money or any big corporations behind us. We've been doing this from our heart, and we've been doing this from ourselves and all of the work that works around this music genre that's going on right now. Not only speaking for Rancho Humilde, but speaking for every other company that's involved right now. That we've been working by ourselves, and now we're partnering with the corporations and stuff like that with the big labels and all that. But one of my friends told me, "Hey, you are the big label," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll rephrase that. We don't want the rest of the labels." So we're doing things that's gonna get us to another level, and this is happening every day. Next thing you know, you guys are gonna have a whole TV show going on. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to see that happen. You know?
Love
You know what,
it.
it makes me so happy, Jimmy, because somos paisanos. I have the same first generation. My parents are from Michoacan, or when I was in elementary school, I used to say my parents were from Michigan because they would make everybody go up. They would make everybody go up to the map, right? And it was just a map of the United States, and they say, "Tell us where your parents are from." So all these kids are all pointing, but Mexico wasn't there. So I would point to Michigan and be like, "Yeah, we're
Hey,
from Michigan." But you know what? In all seriousness, Jimmy, I want to add because so many of your artists that you represent son mexicanos, and I love your quote that you said that you are a Mexicano from Los Angeles. Do you ever? There's that great line from Selena where being the struggles of being Mexican American, right? We got to be more Mexican than the Mexicans and more Americans than the Americans. Did you ever have any issues with those Mexican artists? Did they ever view you as like, yeah, you're not a real Mexicano, like you said, you're a pocho?
Yeah,
And did that ever
yeah.
affect your business?
Of it didn't affect our business, but we did get the slash from them, and but look, I always turned it around and said, "Hey, look at it and appreciate it. We're the youth. You guys are old. Don't stay." You know how I came to them and I told them, "Don't stay behind. Don't argue and don't fight with the future. Get involved and support the future. Collab with them. These are the kids. This is a new generation. Look, I'm 43 years old. I could be hanging around with 43-year-olds dudes all day, but I got to stay relevant. So I got to pay attention to what these kids are using, what they're wearing. And plus, I'm going to tell you, look, these kids nowadays, they can't even come up with their own style of dressing because Jordan's jeans and a baseball cap, that's ours from the 90s, bro, from the 80s. So I'm like, man, you guys better find your way of dressing, wearing retros and stuff like that, but I always try to stay relevant with the community, with the kids, and try to make ourselves also appreciate the youth and the old, so that way we don't get confused and we're all one, you know. And they listen. A lot of the bandas and a lot of the older artists, they listen. And the good thing about Rancho Mila is that we've always worked with all the genres in Mexican music. We've worked with guitarras, we worked with banda, we worked with norteño, we worked with cumbias, we worked with everything. So I think we're like the mixture of that. You can make everything happen in one.
Mhm.
No,
Which
absolutely. I want to make sure I get this in because I think this is so important, and I appreciate that you did this. Humilde House of Charities, and the fact that you are giving out scholarships. You know, Jimmy, you hear this all the time that, people say, never forget where you came from, but a lot of people don't practice that saying. But it sounds like to me, you do. You make sure you help your community, and I think you still live in Venice, right?
Well, I bought a house, my old neighbor's house. I was blessed to pick it up. So yeah, but I also still live in LA. I'm not gonna leave LA. And I don't live in the best part of LA. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody tells me, bro, are you crazy? You live here, and I'm like, where else am I gonna go, bro? Like where do you want me to go? The hills, man. I'm afraid of those coyotes and all those animals over there, bro. I'm in the hood. If I want an elote, I could get up and go 5 minutes and get an elote. If I want some tamales, I could go to the tamalera. I know where they're all at. If I want some menudo in the morning, I don't want to drive an hour away, bro. That's done. Yeah, I can't do that, So I gotta stay. I gotta stay nearby, So I was born and raised in Venice, and then I moved to Lenox, which is near Inglewood by the LAX, when I was
yeah.
21 years old. So I grew up half of my life in Venice, and then the other half in Lenox. So, Lenox was little Mexico, and that's where I sold tacos. I had a little taquera right there in the city of Lenox, and I try to stay close by, bro. So I try not to leave and stay nearby.
So, what
And
can you tell us about the scholarships, though, from Humilde House of Charities?
Oh, I forgot yeah, let me go back to that. My bad. I get into talking, man, and I could take you to, I
no,
could take
we
you like
love
20 different
it.
places at once. Man,
No,
House of
I want you to
Charities.
get credit for this because I mean I think this is important, dude. That you are helping the youth, man. You like you
Well,
said, you haven't turned your back.
growing up, I'm a high school dropout, right? Um, not because I just didn't like high school. I kind of loved the business side of it, but I always knew in myself that I can do it. But that's not something that I recommend to the kids. I don't support that, and I don't make that a easy way out, right? When we decided to create the Media House of Charities was because we would donate so much money to everyone else, and we thought we would donate to scholarships and stuff like that because they would ask us. Come to know, the money, we didn't know where it was going, so we decided to create our own Humilde House of Charities, not only with scholarships, but when we decided to do the scholarships, we wanted to come after our gente, right? No disrespect to anyone else, but we started looking that there was a lot of charities that would donate to special races and support only certain kind of communities. Well, we didn't have one. We do have a couple, but very rare they appear. So we started off with five, right? Major scholarships. We don't want to do a 3,000, 2,000. We're talking about 25 to 100,000 per scholarship,
Oh,
right? This
wow.
is we want these kids to take it on another level. And one thing is that we want to support the entertainment scholarship program because there isn't none out there for our gente. So one that wants to be a music engineer, music producer, video producer, a picture engineer, whatever. Um, Now, hopefully, we can change somebody's life with that type of scholarship, right? And we didn't want to give the money to anybody else because we didn't know if it was really gonna go to that organization
Mhm.
of scholarships to our gente. So when we decided to do it, it came from the heart, man. This wasn't we weren't advised by anyone. We weren't told by anyone. We did the organization, we did the nonprofit, we did the whole thing, and we fight with our accountants all day, and we're like, I don't care. We're donating this money, even if we get in trouble. We don't care. This money's going there, and they're like, okay, So, um, we're proud to do it, and we take very pride. And we want to start with five. Our goal next year is to quadruple it. Maybe we could get the Dodgers to help us. Maybe we could get big organizations to come in and say, hey, let's start donating into organizations like the ones we want to create to help our organization. So that way, our brown people, our Chicanos, our Mexican American, have that bigger opportunity to go and get those corporate jobs, and also we can help them get prepared to become someone else in life. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, just appreciate that, man. It's one of those things. I don't look at it as charity as what you're doing. I just feel that those of us that have the ability to help should help, because not everybody has the same opportunities. I mean, you mentioned it before. Like, if we went into neighborhoods and we give bats and we give gloves, that shit is expensive. I mean, I just bought
Super.
Haley a $500 bat the other day, and she's still using her old bat. I
They,
mean, it's just. Go ahead, Jimmy.
they're not getting any cheaper. You know, they're
Yeah.
No.
not they're not getting any cheaper. That's the thing. Like, a lot of these. Well, I donate a lot back to the community, and
Yeah.
and the sports as well. Like, um, as a matter of fact, we just partnered up with a glove maker, and we're gonna bring out Humilde gloves, very, very well done leather gloves that are top notch that you're gonna see. But the reason we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna tell you another thing that we're putting together as well, why we decided to create that too as well, is to make it affordable for the kids that want to wear that good glove, that nice leather, and be able to play in the field with a good glove. But we're also opening up another organization right now, which is called Humilde Baseball Academy. Um, we are we're looking into a couple places right now, big locations. I'm talking about huge warehouses where we could make real academies indoor. Um, we've been to a couple, which my son goes to the Dodger, forget what it's called, Dodger Academy over there in Thousand Oaks, and I kind of got an idea from that too because he gets some really good training there, and we decided to do that to make it inexpensive for our kids, but to prepare our kids to go into these high schools very well prepared, not
Right.
only with baseball, but but also educational, to let them know that you got to have a good grade in order for you to play ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, that
Yeah.
goes with each other. So we want to get involved in that, and we are developing this organization, and we want to create new stuff for the kids, and help out the youth. We're here for the kids, man, because I got that love in the hood. I remember getting it, but one of the things is that when I always tell people, like, the reason why I love to give back, because I know what it feels like to be given when you don't have anything, right?
Mhm.
And we used to get the cheese, we used to get the latas, and we used to get the popcorn for 25 cents, and we used to do a lot of different things, when we were kids. And so we know what it was like to be given something, and the good feeling of need. And we want to do it back to the community, and we want to make also people know that there's Chicanos, people like us doing it. You know what I'm saying? There's not other ethnicities only. There's also Chicanos and our brown, and people like us that are entrepreneurs, and we're showing the kids that we want to be that example. So, I mean, there's a lot of things we're doing all at once, but it's going. Gracias a Dios.
That's awesome.
So,
Alicia,
honestly,
Alicia, if there was an Humilde Baseball Academy when I was around, I maybe have been playing shortstop right now for the Dodgers. But I think it's great that you're doing that. Go ahead, Alicia.
well, we did it when we asked you to come on and participate and be our guest in Bleed Los. We didn't know you also had an academy. So I don't know. Is this breaking news? I'm
Yeah,
excited.
this is 100% breaking news. I'm putting it together with a good friend of mine named Ernie. He actually runs the one of the Downey leagues, Northwest Downey, and we decided to do this because, my son went on we went on he's on a traveling team, and as well, and we went out to Arizona, and just to see how organized a lot of other teams were because of training academies and camps that they
Yeah.
have, and how we weren't. And that kind of said, you know what? I said, I want to. That's one of the main things we want to do. We want to start an academy. What does it take? We're looking into it. We have a lot of. You know what? Surprisingly, how many coaches want to get involved? It's crazy. Ex
Yeah.
baseball players from Mexico that we know, um, just people all around that are finding out what we wanted to do, and they're on board. They're like, dude, count on me. Like, it's like I'll donate my time in the beginning, but after you guys start doing good, then start taking care of me. We're like, don't worry about it. We're gonna try to start taking care of everything since the get go.
And see, and because there is a need, and one, I mean, there is a need to you're leveling the playing field, right? Because a lot
Yeah.
of these other teams everywhere across the country have their own trainers, their own pitching coaches, their own batting coaches. I'm sorry, you go to a lot of neighborhoods throughout California, and there's no one that can pay for that, that wants to pay for that, food or a batting coach. Come on. So I
Yeah.
love this. I love that we call it equity in sport. Those are my old news days. So we have breaking news here with your academy, your scholarships. Juan brought that up. I want to make sure we let everybody know, because when people hear this or watch this on YouTube, students have till the 14th to apply, and you're going to announce the winner April 28th, correct?
April 28th, yeah. And so we're gonna do our office. We have a compound called Rancho Mille Compound, which you guys are invited on May 4th. We're doing the inauguration. I'm pretty bad with pronouncing some words, right? But we're doing our ribbon for our own office. We're inviting all of the social media platforms and the digital platforms for music and all that we work with, and a lot of people and you guys have a person, and there we're gonna announce the kids media that we're doing this too. So look, we just want these kids to get that great feeling, and I got a scholarship. There's people, supporting it. Get to be around a lot of important people. Maybe one of these guys could end up being a CEO or a top notch at Spotify one day, or you know what I'm saying, or just anything that can inspire them. So we want to do it there. We want to present them there, and invite them there so they could, have a little chat with a couple of people there, and that's it. Probably we could get you guys to come out and get the Dodgers to give a little give a little some away right there for the kids. Maybe a little bag of something. Goodies.
I love that. And we are down. We're going to work on that for you. I just had an idea. Maybe as this progresses and your scholarship, the Humilde House of Charities scholarships, you're going to start building more and more relationships with colleges. Dr. Dre has his own music program at USC, my alma mater. I'm just saying, like, let's put that in the universe. Like, maybe you're going to help train the next, Nathaniel. Maybe you're going to help bring up the next Fuerza. Maybe we get a lot of young women who are like, I want to rap, I want to sing, I want to have my own voice. And that this is where it's all going, because you did things your way. So congratulations, much love and respect to all that you do. We still have a few more questions and we're going to let you go, but it's something we ask all of our guests. So I have to send it back to Juan.
That's right. So, because he's the ultimate homie, Jimmy, we end the show with what I like to refer to as our kickback questions. So they're kind of like rapid fire questions. So if you want to give a longer answer, you can. But they're just real quick questions for you. First question is Venice considered South LA or West LA?
West LA.
Okay. So we had Memo El Dragon, Memo Torres from LA Taco on, and he schooled me because I have a little bit of a bias against the west side of LA. I get nauseous when I go to the west side of LA. But to be fair, it's because I associate it with like Santa Monica and Culver City, right? But Memo El Dragon, he
Right.
schooled me on the show, and he told me, hey, don't sleep on Venice. Venice is not what you are describing. Because the thing is when
Bro.
we think of Dodger fans, we always think of the east side of LA, right? We're thinking of Boyle Heights, but there's a lot of Dodger fans over there in that part of of Los Angeles,
Bro,
right?
I I don't know not one fan that's not. I don't know not one person that I grew up with that's not a Dodger fan. It's like
All right.
that we called it the Cuatro Esquinas. In the West LA, you had Culver City, Santa Monica, Venice, and another area called Sotel, right? And they called
Yeah.
it back in the days the four corners, right? And what that was, it was like a huge Latino community, man, which is just an FYI, before people even came to East Los or South Central or anything, la comunidad latina, que era la gente de Jalisco y de Michoacán, came to Santa Monica and Venice before anywhere else in LA. And so then the reason that was, just to educate you guys a little bit on some I got educated with growing up over there, was the reason that happened was because the people that came and the first Mexicanos that stepped in LA was because they put together the train tracks. They were train track workers. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason that they came in to LA, and it was because they were housed in Venice, Santa Monica, and Culver City, and that's why there were so many Mexicanos there at one point, because they were the ones that were building the train tracks, and they were brought here from Mexico to build them. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them ended up staying. You know, a lot of them, but that's the school I didn't even know. You know, and it's so dope because we're all Dodger fans over there, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, but but we bleed blue, bro.
All right. Since you are from Venice, were you ever a surfer, skater, or a weightlifter in the day before Venice got gentrified?
Not Definitely not a weightlifter, but I was a skateboarder, of course. You know, I could do the ollies and I could still skate and do it. Probably not as good no more, right? But I didn't get into surfing, but I did get into body surfing, definitely.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Body surfing. Okay. This next one for you. The backyard boogies, when you were handing out flyers on the corner for those backyard boogies, could backyard boogies still be a thing now, or was that just a time capsule where these young kids are just never going to know what those backyard boogies were like?
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't think there can be the same. They can be the same, because we had no phones, bro. So it was just it was action from the motion you were inside. You were whoever you wanted to pick up on, you know. But now it's like you're gonna check who's there, who's checking in. Let me Snapchat it. Everybody taking pictures. I don't know, bro. It's not gonna be the same ever, bro. Yeah, I don't think it'll be. But it was good times for sure.
Okay, last one. And this is a good question for you because you owned your own taco shop. You were a taquero. Jimmy, we need to know, what is your favorite taco and where do you go to get that taco in Los Angeles? And from what I've been educated on, it seems like Venice, you can't sleep on Venice because they got some good tacos over there.
Oh, they got some good tacos right there on Lincoln and what is that? Lincoln and Brooks. Lincoln and Brooks, right in the corner. So they got some good tacos right there. But my taco spots, I got 3 favorites, bro. I always get lengua and cabeza for sure, you know. And then either if I feel like having some al pastor, I always eat anywhere from 4 to 6 tacos. So depending, well, it don't really matter how big they are. I'm gonna still eat them, you know. But I always get lengua and cabeza. But one of my favorite spots is Tacos Don Cuco over there in East Los, and definitely over there also. There's this taco spot on Alameda and El Segundo in Compton. Mm-hmm. So that's my spots right there, bro. Like, you know, it's 2 different kind of tacos. Tacos Don Cuco is más al carbón, la carne hecha en carbón, more Tijuana style. But you go to the other one is more de F, is more, you know, like en el disco. They llaman tacos de pellizco. They do it with their hand. So
yeah.
Yum, making me hungry.
So, man, you got me all watered up, right?
Yeah, seriously.
So are you a tortilla de maíz or tortilla de harina?
I'm both, bro. Lo que caiga.
Same.
All right, no discrimination.
But if you want to give me some beans, refritos, y me vas a dar una tortilla de harina, please burn it a little bit.
Okay, te gustan las doraditas.
Yes,
doraditas.
Sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank the great Jimmy Humilde and the CEO, the founder of Rancho Humilde, who's just killing it. Check out his artists. Jimmy, where can our listeners, our viewers, where can they follow you on the social medias? Because you're close to 1 million now on IG, right? So let's help Jimmy get to a
Man, I'm
million.
I'm I'm 2,000 away. I think no 3,000 away. So as soon as I hit the million, I got a big surprise for the followers. You know I love them giveaways, baby. So I think we got some cash giveaways right there. But it's jimmyhumilde.rh on Instagram, and then we just got verified on TikTok. You know how we do it, Jimmy Humilde. So Jimmy Humilde también. I have my own YouTube channel, which is Jimmy Humilde Music, or they can follow Rancho Humilde for sure at any time.
And there you have it. Jimmy always in touch con los jóvenes, man. Con los niños with the TikTok, man. We got to get on top of the TikTok. Jimmy,
Yeah.
this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for the time. I love that you gave us the Scarface vibe with the red interior on the car. And you've just, and thank you for everything that you're doing for the community. It's really inspiring. I'm really looking forward to the Humilde Baseball Academy because look, it's no joke. When I was a kid, if I ever got a new bat, it was a hand-me-down. It was because my cousin didn't want his
Straight
bat
up.
anymore, and that's
Straight
how
up.
I got it. And I think people don't. I think they lose sight of that. So I just can't thank you enough for everything that you're doing, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
All
you,
day,
Jimmy.
brother. All day. Thank you guys so much for having me on here, and blessings to you guys. And I hope this continues to keep bleeding on and to take you guys to the next level, man. But bleed blue all day on my end.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Bye, Jimmy.
Thank you guys.
And once again, a big thank you to Jimmy Humilde, the CEO and founder of Rancho Humilde. For those of you who aren't familiar with his artist, as he mentioned, check out his YouTube channel. I mean, this guy has. If we didn't go a lot into his biography, but it really is a kind of a rags to riches type story. You know what, Alicia? I did not know that he was a high school dropout. And what I thought was really encouraging about him is even though he was a high school dropout and he has achieved a remarkable level of success, he still encouraged people to keep go to school because it's not like everybody can do what he did. He did. Is there any other aspect of that interview that surprised you about him?
I did not know that as well, but absolutely even more encouraging, right? I mean, he is, the phrase, the American dream,
Yeah.
right? Like, first, this is why our relatives have sacrificed so much to give opportunities. And so, what's the first thing that they tell you? You have to go to college. And not everyone has to. He is an example of vision, of hard work. I mean, he was a taque, like, he knows what it takes. He saw the need. But I do love that he respects how higher education can provide opportunities that he did not grow up with. It's like full circle, right? And I love what you said, Juan, about if you have the opportunity to pay it forward, give back, not to forget where you're from. All of these phrases, you're right, they're used kind of, I mean, maybe too much. Maybe we need to see less talking, more action. And Jimmy literally is action. He's out there. He's helping the farm workers. He's helping undocumented students. We just got breaking news that he's building a baseball academy to help young athletes in the hood, in the neighborhoods he grew up with, to pursue, sports, to be better at it. And that could lead to scholarships as well. That could lead to the next, professional baseball players, the next Dodgers. How cool would that be if, years from now, we're like, remember Jimmy said he was going to do that? So he is action, and I love that. And it's encouraging. And he just has that vibe, right? Like he's always like, let's go. I love that energy about him. The few times we've interacted, it's always up. It's always, let's do this. I love that he doesn't apologize. He'll say, like, I'm learning about this. I'm going to learn more about that. Or I just found out this. And he applies it. And that's all we want, right? Like, as soon as you stop learning or caring about learning about new things, you're done. You're done. So he's just found a way to make a whole lot of money off of that. Good.
And you know what? And you've again, Princesa, I know he upgraded to La Reina del Barrio, but I'm sorry, you are the Princesa de Picolandia for me. You always will be the Princesa de Picolandia. But you're right. He has a lot of energy. I hate that we didn't get a chance to talk to him about his help of street vendors.
Right.
Street vendors are part of Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
a lot of times, I feel like the street vendor food is better than restaurants, and I get it. Restaurants are great too, but sometimes you're on a run, you're hungry. I don't want to go to McDonald's. I don't want to go to Jack in the Crack. If there's a street vendor there that's going to give you a good carne, a good taco, I love that I wish we could have gone into that a little bit more. Babyface, I want to get what was the biggest surprise for you that you just did not expect after having that conversation with him, other than the fact that he has the red interior on his car, which I absolutely loved. I felt we were
Wait,
doing like an episode of Cribs.
I was gonna say a lot of those fancy cars, that's what they have, right? Like
I
I was
don't do fancy cars, Princess.
well,
I'm poor. I'm poor.
I used
And
to, I was able to borrow cars back then. I've never owned one, but I worked a lot. I fundraised for Rusnak. You guys ever heard of Rusnak
Yeah.
dealers?
Yeah.
They specialize in luxury cars. And I've driven Range Rovers, a black Maserati, and they all had red interior.
Oh.
So that's the only reason I know. Okay. I'm from Pico Rivera, East LA. Like, it's not like I grew up that way.
I'm
And I
gonna
only borrowed them. I had to give them back.
I'm gonna upgrade my Jeep's interior then, make it all red.
Gee, do
Fine.
it.
And I noticed there was no light coming in either. Like, and it wasn't like a tint. And I mean, I don't know if you had like some kind of blinds that just
Curtain,
like
a little
yeah,
curtain.
that
Yeah.
just blacked everything out. Like, because it didn't look like tint.
Hey,
No.
good
Right?
for him. Good for him, you know?
But I mean, I think to me surprising with all this stuff that he said, like all this, he's really involved, like obviously in the community, but the baseball stuff, the aspect, right? Like he said,
Yeah.
he's gonna have this his academy and stuff like that. I mean, that like you said, breaking news. That's pretty awesome to hear that he's gonna have an academy, like you said. Like, I mean, if there was an academy around when we were growing up, like how different can things be, right? Like, so
Well, yeah, I mean, Alicia said it. It levels the playing field, and I
Right.
can't stress enough being in that travel baseball world, and this is why, like, I always felt that Yasiel Puig kind of got a bad rap. Mike Trout grew up, probably getting, because he was so talented, getting the best equipment, getting the gloves. I don't think he ever had to worry about that. There's a lot of kids that have talent that maybe they can't pursue it because, look, I'm not kidding. I just went shopping the other day. A $500 baseball bat, gloves. Gloves were going between $300 to $400. If you're coming from a single parent home, how can you afford to do that stuff? They're constantly raising money for these teams, right? Because of the cost of everything is.
Right.
So when you have people like this, and again, they don't have to do this. So that's why I think it's important to recognize the people that are doing this, because I don't want to say that it's going to shame other people into doing it, but maybe it will motivate them. Yeah, encourage them to, like, hey, there's nothing wrong with helping those people who don't have the means.
Right.
And I mean, I also love the fact when he decided to create his company was because he wanted to support his own people. I thought he was speaking, it was 100 when he said it, because it's so right. There are so many Latinos that I know that are hip hop fans that, all the movies, like the Fast and the Furious movies, right? To talk about diversity, Princesa, those casts you see are multicultural, right? But there's a lot of Latinos that go to support and go see those movies. And that's why those movies end up making $1 billion, right?
Right.
And again, La Princesa has always said this. We have money. We want to spend it. Give us reasons to spend it.
Right. And he backed that up by telling us the story at Sábado Gigante, which is also backing up my stories about my journey in hard news. The people running news are not us. And so even though we are the largest majority in this country, the people running the Dodgers are not us. And that's fine. That's their prerogative. It's a privately owned business, and I have nothing but love for my team. But I just sometimes, well, not sometimes, I've often wondered, like, do you not look around? And so Jimmy, instead of maybe complaining and whining like I've been doing, Jimmy looked around and created his own, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, maybe I should. So he's just talking to him has inspired me to be like, well, what can I do about it? Right?
Yeah.
Instead of pointing it out, what am I going to do about it? Right? So I love that. I love that he sees the need and fulfills it. And I love that he said the traditionalists, and this is in news as well, they have been doing their way, they've been doing their thing the same way. Baseball, Major League Baseball, they're guilty of that, right?
Yeah.
They're used to doing things the way it's always been done. How's that working out? I mean, yes, they're hugely successful in the numbers. They make a lot of money, but you get what I'm saying?
No, no.
Out of the three big sports, they are falling off compared to the NFL, the granddaddy of this country.
Yeah.
And so I love that. And if we could have kept talking to him, I would have loved to asked him about the NIL. Like, these are all things,
Yeah.
like, if he has that kind of passion, because I'm trying to do that with young golfers. Like, these are areas that they don't have private coaches. They don't have former pros coaching them in our high schools. I want to level the playing field so that they can get scholarships, so that they can go pro, right? Shout out Lisette Salas. So I'm encouraged by this interview, and I knew that he bled Dodger blue, but I didn't know how hard. So I guess that was a pleasant surprise too. Like, he's down. I love it.
And I want to go ahead, baby, please.
Well, I was gonna say another thing that caught my attention when he said how to get like kids involved. Like, we said it, the financial cost is huge, right?
Yeah.
But he said, like, give them balls, give them bats, give them gloves, right? And I think that's huge, because when you go to one of these, these workshops that they'll do, like, they'll give them a hat, they'll give them a shirt, and they'll do teaching too, right? But then they leave, right? How are they, if they don't have the glove, they don't have the bats, how are they going to continue to do that, right? Like other sports, like basketball, right? You get a basketball, you go to a park, you're able to shoot, practice, and do your thing, right? It's a lot harder for baseball, right? You need to have all this equipment that costs a lot of money. Now, if they leave these events with a ball, baseball, glove, you put them on the right direction already.
And one of the last takeaway before we wrap things up for me is I am finally starting to come around. I think I might have a cure for my West Side nausea. El Dragon Memo Torres schooled me on that episode, and now Jimmy has schooled me again on sleeping on the West Side. Dragon talked about Venice, being a good place to get tacos. So maybe I just need to get over this West Side nausea and just realize it's not as bad as I think it is and go. But look, before I know you guys sit there going, God, you guys are. And for those of you watching on the YouTube, Alicia's set just completely fell apart. So I think that's a cue to end the show. So
Right.
before I end the show, what I was trying to say is, before you guys accuse us of turning this episode into a giant ball washing of Jimmy Humilde, I just want to say this: even though I am the Prince of Darkness, I am a big proponent of giving people their flowers when their flowers are due. That is the reason why we fought so hard for Valenzuela to get his recognition. So when we do see people like this, and I want to thank La Princesa for this, because La Princesa was the one that brought Jimmy to my attention. As I think La Princesa has said this, we want to be part of the solution. I know sometimes maybe our listeners may think that we just turned this into a bitch fest. And if it comes off that way, maybe we just need to do a better job of communicating that what we're trying to do is we're trying to find solutions. We're trying to, be productive members of society. I'll give you the last word before we end the show, Princesa.
I just want to say ditto, Juan, ditto. Let's be about solutions. Let's be about elevating. I like to talk about the experience of going to the Dodger game. This is the kind of the stuff that we're talking about, right? Like, seeing more. We've got the mariachis in there. Like, maybe we can have more of the music that young people, if we're talking about bringing them back to baseball, give them equipment. Maybe some of the scholarship should also be targeted to helping a family, a single mom, a single dad, keep their kids in baseball. Things like that are
Yep.
going to go a long way, right? And not just for the cameras like some foundations do. And I mean, don't get me wrong, all of it's appreciated. And if you can help, please help. But you're right. Let's be part of the solution. Let's get Jimmy to throw out that first pitch. Imagine the party inside Dodger Stadium. It's something else I just thought of. The baseball academy, the Humilde Baseball Academy, that is coming. Again, you heard it here first. We need to connect him with Rocks.
That's
Friend
right.
Yeah, right. Friend of the Carne Asada, Rocks Arroyo. We're going to get the system. We're going to connect you to, because that's his passion in life, right? So that's his jam. That's his career, his life. So I think there's a lot that could, a lot of good to come from this interview. So thank you, Jimmy. Thank you to his scholarship foundation. I want to make sure that we get it right. On Instagram, if you go to Humilde House of Charities, I want to say that right. That's where you can find the QR codes. It's super easy. Teachers are encouraged to nominate students as well. Shout out to all of our teachers in LA City, LA County. And they're specifically looking, well, not specifically, high school senior scholars. There you go. Musicians, graphic designers, media creators, and first generation students are all welcome, as well as undocumented students. All welcome to apply. And this is some big money. So as someone who had a lot of college debt, scholarships, do it.
Absolutely. And there you have it. So for those of you who, again, have just stumbled across this on the YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. You can catch all our episodes on the YouTube channel. If you're one of those people that just would rather listen, or, you need something to listen to on the drive to work, you can also subscribe on the audio format on this podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcast. So, for this episode of the Bleed Loss Podcast, yo ha sido su servidor, de parte de mis colegas Alicia Del Valle and Babyface. Nos vemos para la próxima. This episode of the Bleed Loss Podcast has been brought to you by betonline.ag, where the game starts.